fructose is probably up there among the worst carbohydrates you can consume. So I would avoid fructose before I would start avoiding glucose, which means that you'd be eating pure glucose or starch, glucose starch that is, in preference to table sugar or fruit, because both of those contain a significant amount of fructose.
Mhm.
However, let's get back to the main point, which is you should not eat any carbohydrates.
Maybe you can get them not to eat processed foods or not to eat high sugar content foods, but maybe they still want to include some potatoes or vegetables.
Okay, well, the
Say,
problem with that is that when you eat a potato, it's made up of glucose starch, which will break down rapidly to glucose. If you eat the processed food that contains a lot of glucose in it inherently, it's exactly the same thing that you end up with. There is no difference.
there's no difference. Even if one is, they call it complex carbohydrates compared to simple carbohydrates, but they all break down to glucose at the end of the day. So
the whole argument that complex carbohydrates or starch is better to consume than glucose in its already broken down form is based on a thing called the GI scale. You've probably all heard of the GI scale. The problem with the GI scale is that it's nonsense. It's based on pseudoscience. It's based on a very small sample size of people. And what they found, actually, if you look at the statistics that underpin this GI scale, what you'll find is that the repeatability or reliability of the measurement from one individual to another on any given food challenge is so variable as to make the average result that they produce in these tables meaningless and of no utility. Even worse than that, while you and I will get a very different response to the exact same one piece of white bread, for example.
yeah, sure.
If I test you on one piece of white bread, the same brand of white bread, today, tomorrow, the next day, next week, next month, and next year, you will get a wildly different response every single time. The GI scale is laughable. It's not science. It's theology. It's another thing that has been put together by plant-based theologists who want to try and sell you that eating plants is a good idea. No, it isn't still.
So fibers is not good for you.
No. There is no evidence whatsoever anywhere in the literature that anyone can point to tell you that fiber is good for you in your diet. It's
I had
theology.
very bad experience with fibers. I was suffering from crazy bloating for over a year, and I went to the doctors and they prescribed me all kinds of fibers and probiotics, and it only made it worse. And I nearly solved all of those problems that I had for multiple years in just a few weeks by cutting out all carbohydrates. It was insane. Just changed my life.
Yep. Anyone out there that doubts at all whether removing all fiber from your diet is a good idea or not, try it for a week. Try it for 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's
You
so
will,
hard.
they will try and scare you. They'll tell you, oh, no, if you don't have fiber, you won't be able to move your bowels. Nonsense. That's not true. Or you'll be more likely to get bowel cancer. Absolute nonsense. There is no evidence in support of that claim extant anywhere on the planet either. That's theology as well, bought and paid for theology. Basically, all of these ideas, they'll say, oh, what about your microbiome, though? Well, there's answers to that too. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the human microbiome. We don't know what a good microbiome even is. And this whole idea of good and bad microbiota? Oh, for goodness sake, really? It's like saying good and bad cholesterol. That doesn't exist either.
What about oxidative stress? For example, they all recommend you should eat a lot of blueberries, because they have antioxidants.
Yeah, they also have pro-oxidants and anti-nutrients and irritants. Blueberries are quite innocuous, really. You can eat a small amount of blueberries in your diet and you're probably not going to have a real problem. Okay, don't quote me on that, but it's true. Eating a whole bunch of plant material, basing your diet on plant material and avoiding all the stuff where you're actually going to get nutrition, That's a bad idea. That will lead to problems, almost certainly. Different story. The whole idea that antioxidants should come from your diet is another theology. It's another idea that doesn't actually enjoy any scientific or even common sense backing. Because at the end of the day, oxidative damage is the removal of electrons from various structures in the body. You have a suite of antioxidants that your body produces itself. Most of those are protein-based, actually. Glutathione, for example, is the master, if you like. In the mitochondria, it's H2O2 dismutase, which does that role mostly. Secondly, a great way to get antioxidant activity is to ground yourself electrically to the earth. Thus, your body absorbs electrons directly from the earth into your body, and those electrons are attracted to the holes where electrons should be, i.e. repairing that damage directly. It's a theology. It's an idea that we should get our antioxidants from our diet, and that's the only place we can get them from. It's just nonsense.
Mm-hmm. What are the other places you can get them from other than grounding?
Okay, so there's grounding. Mm-hmm. There's the suite of antioxidants that your body makes yourself.
Yeah.
Vitamin C is an antioxidant, which there is some of in meat, even though meat generally says 0, because actually what that means is less than 1 per 100. Mm-hmm. But there is some, and it's enough. Mm-hmm. Urate/uric acid. That's an antioxidant. In fact, it's more powerful than is vitamin C in that regard. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just think, well, uric acid is the cause of gout, which it isn't. Actually, it's just coincident with it in some cases, But these ideas that almost everything you have ever heard about health as that relates to human diet, biochemistry, and all of that, almost all of it is theology. Yeah, there is no science to be had. It does not exist. Why not? Well, because you can't do experiments on human beings. Ethics committees don't like it. The stable isotope testing that tells us human beings absolutely have been at the highest trophic level, i.e. we got the vast majority of our nutrition from animal sources and almost none to speak of from plant sources. Mm-hmm.
Also, like if we go back in time, we wouldn't find all of these fruits and vegetables that the modern world it's used to. Like you go to the grocery store, you find bananas, avocados, mangoes, like from other parts of the world, which they would never exist to begin with.
That's right. They've been selectively bred for, haven't they?
Yeah,
they're a human invention.
They're all like. It was funny because I was doing a little research the other day. I was looking, tell me, in California where I live, which type of vegetables and fruits grow in the wild. And they gave me a list of things that I have no idea what they are. Nothing that you could find in the market.
Yeah.
And they were probably using them for like medicinal purposes. Definitely not for eating them.
Yeah.
Unless they were like starving, I mean.
Yep. Yes, the modern fruits and vegetables are all human inventions. None of them were available to humans back when. And even if a few of them were in a form that's quite different from what it is now, not all of them. Because they all come from different corners of the world, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the big ones is bananas are very important for you because they have potassium.
Well, I haven't eaten a banana in many, many years. I'm still here. So clearly they can't be that important.
Right.
Maybe there are other sources of potassium in the world.
Yeah, and then you can even, absorb most of the nutrients in plants. They come in different forms that the human body can't absorb, or we can only absorb a little bit of it. Like, for example, vitamin A compared to retinol, or vitamin K2 compared to vitamin K1.
Yeah, I mean, the plant versions of the same so-called vitamins are almost universally not usable by human beings and not transmittable by human beings to a meaningful degree. To get enough retinol, vitamin A, from beta-carotene, the plant-based version, for example, or the primary plant-based version, you would have to eat buckets and buckets and buckets of carrots every day.
Or even ALA, the omega-3.
Same deal.
We can even convert it to DHA. It's like yeah, all of these vegans are promoting you need to eat a bunch of flax seeds or chia seeds, like, or soy or tofu or whatever. What is the problem with this type of foods?
Anti-nutrients, toxins like oxalate, for example, just to name one, pro-irritants, I mean, at the end of the day, a plant cannot run away from you, cannot hide under a rock, dive into a pond, or fly away from you. A plant is rooted to the spot. It needs to defend itself from being eaten somehow. So its means of self-defense is chemical warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Most plant toxins are designed to kill insects effectively and quickly, and they do.
They do.
But there's an arms race between, the insects and the plants largely, right? Most of these toxins won't kill a human being stone dead, but they will cause you a problem over a lifetime of eating that stuff. Some plant toxins will kill you stone dead. Let's be honest. Some of them will. Of all the plants on the planet, something like 95% of them are inedible by humans because they will kill you immediately. And something like 95% plus of the animals existent on this planet can be eaten by humans. That should tell you something.